All right, everybody. TikTok, I see you guys. We got a few guys coming in. I think YouTube, Facebook, we got some guys coming in there too. I got some moderators with me to help me with some of the comments. I'm on TikTok on my phone, so when you see me leaning over here, I'm scrolling through the comments. Okay, so just bear with me. This will be our last live of the week. It's Friday. I hope everyone has some plans this weekend. We'll give it a couple more minutes. See if we can get anyone else to show up. All right, let's get started here. I want to start off. There was a scare beginning of the week, right? A lot of you guys were concerned about the changes coming down the pipeline with the VA and how they're going to evaluate you at your C&P exams. And hopefully you guys all saw that's changed. I think a lot of that had to do with the reaction from veterans. There was a link you can go to and you can provide a comment. And this was on Thursday, I think it was Thursday morning. I checked it. There was like 2,000 comments. And then by Thursday afternoon, there was over 10,000 comments. And the ones I clicked on, none of them were positive. It was all kind of saying the same things you guys were saying. It really puts the veteran in a bind where they have to either choose between their mental and physical health or their financial stability. So, it worked out in everyone's favor. We're good for now. You guys can breathe for a little bit until the VA throws something else, throws another curveball at us. But for now, we're all good. If you guys have done these lives before, welcome back. If not, we're VetComm. We're a veteran-owned and operated company, and what we do is we help veterans with their navigate the complicated VA disability claims process. And this is your guys' chance to ask any questions you may have in regards to the VA, does, and just any claim questions that you guys may have. You guys got the number here on the screen, the free claim review. If you're not a member of VetComm, and as you're listening to this and you are in that, you're in that demographic where either you don't feel like you're rated appropriately or you want to be rated more. If you call that number on the screen, 858-360-2227, you will get $100 off of our sign up fee. So just listen, read, put a comment in here if you have a question. I'm by no means saying you can't ask a question unless you purchase our services. This is a free service that we do to kind of get VetComm's name out there so that you guys can benefit from it. Let's see, John, where'd you get the Iwo Jima Freedom Isn't Free? I got this from my aunt and uncle. I think they got it from maybe a like a thrift store or something. It was when I retired. I retired from the Marine Corps in 2024, and that was what they got me for my retirement gift. And I thought it was pretty fitting, so I threw it back there for everyone to see. Um, some common questions that we get as you guys get more comfortable asking your questions. Can mental health conditions qualify even without a diagnosis in service? They certainly can. For mental health diagnosis, if you don't get it diagnosed in service, that's totally fine. A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't think to get seen in service because it's viewed sometimes in a negative light. Okay, so it's completely normal to not want to be seen in service for your mental health. When you get out though, and you decide, hey, this mental health is becoming a problem, and you want to be treated for it, you want to get the help, you can by all means, you can go back to the VA and file a claim. It is important that you have a diagnosis. You can certainly file a claim for mental health, PTSD, depression, anxiety without a diagnosis. You know, in reality, you can file any claim you want without a diagnosis, but whether or not that's going to get service connected is going to depend on that clinical diagnosis. The VA needs to determine a qualifying event in service, a clinical diagnosis, and the nexus or connection between the two. And if you're missing any of those, the VA could quickly deny those conditions. So a diagnosis is key for you guys if you want to maximize that claim, but not necessarily. You may end up getting a diagnosis at the CMP exam. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, but it's usually a gamble. Let's see. I saw a few questions up here. And again, if you see me come up here, I got TikTok on my phone. Let's see. CMP examiner denied my hypertension and sleep apnea secondary to PTSD. Yeah, I would definitely do a higher low review on that one, especially if you're within that year timeline. If you're service connected for sleep apnea and PTSD, and you have the diagnosis for hypertension and they don't give it to you, I would absolutely appeal that. See if you can't get, back in front of a reviewer to discuss that. But hypertension, absolutely, that sleep apnea and PTSD can certainly cause that. So I would definitely appeal that one. Let's see. Just got rated 20% for diabetes. Can I get more higher rating? Sure, you can tie things to diabetes. A common secondary to diabetes is diabetic neuropathy, right? So if you have that numbness or tingling in your legs and your arms, that's certainly something that you can go after. If you have if that diabetes causes you to feel depressed, that's also something that you can go after. Very, very, very common for people with diabetes to have depression. If the diabetes causes you to gain weight and you have sleep apnea, you can go after sleep apnea. There's a lot that you can go after secondary to diabetes. A lot of it is just you doing your research. ChatGPT is a great tool. Google Gemini is a great tool just to kind of see what different conditions can be tied to something that you're service connected for. Let's see. If I was separated from service with a pre-existing medical, do you think I could do anything? Pre-existing medical, I take it you mean that you had some sort of condition before you entered, and you're separated for service because of that. I think a lot of that's going to depend on how long you made it. But if this pre-existing disability or condition was something that the service made worse, you can absolutely claim that. If it wasn't for you entering service, that disability may not have become as bad or aggravated as it was. So you can certainly go after service-connected disability for something that you had before service if your service aggravated it or made it worse. Can an infantry soldier get a back rating if back issues are not in service treatment record? Sure, you can. A lot of guys in the infantry, they don't go to medical. They suck it up, okay? And that's pretty common. But if you're in the infantry, you're going to have the MOS, right? And a lot of the times when you claim your back condition, the VA is going to see, okay, this person had infantry service, so chances are they have some sort of back, knee, hip issues. And that's definitely something that you should fight. A lot of times what could help out with that is a solid personal statement. Talk about what you did in the infantry, the training ops you went on, the kits you wore, the deployments you went on, anything like that. And if you can provide that personal statement to show what you did in service and how it injured yourself, you have a pretty decent chance of getting that service connected just because you're in the infantry. Let's see, from Facebook, VA denied 8 of my 10 claims. Is it better to do all supplemental claims together or a couple at a time? Mike, it kind of depends, right? If you have evidence to go after all 8 claims, you can certainly go for it. But there is a strategy out there to use smaller chunks to go after the VA so that you don't overwhelm them, right? So if you want to go after 3 conditions now, build some evidence for the other 5 conditions, that's perfectly fine. But if you have new and relevant evidence to file that supplemental claim for all those 8 denied conditions, by all means, go after those supplemental claims so that you can have the VA look at them. I wanted to claim, do I have to apply for a veteran's ID first? No, you don't. If you're a veteran, you got that DD 214, you do not have to have an ID. All you have to do is go to va.gov and you have to create an account with either id.me or login.gov. You will verify your identity and then you're off to the races. You do not need a VA ID to file a VA claim. Jay, back to your question. You got a diagnosis of sleep apnea and high blood pressure. You have a CPAP issued by the VA. So, okay, you have the diagnosis of sleep apnea, but is the sleep apnea service connected? That's key. If you have a diagnosis, but it's not service connected, you can't tie anything to it. The VA won't even look at it, right? Well, they'll look at it, but they won't look at it in a positive light. But if you can get that sleep apnea service connected, then you certainly have a very strong case of getting that hypertension service connected secondary to your sleep apnea. What about PTSD increases from TikTok? I have it currently rated at 30%. I had an SI event in October. Absolutely. If you had an SI event in October, increase your PTSD. The increasing claim, it's a very simple process. If you go into va.gov and you start that the 21 TAC 526EZ and you just select that you want to increase a condition, you select PTSD, and that's it. You don't have to provide a statement. You don't have to do anything because you're letting that the VA know that since you last evaluated me, this condition has gotten worse. And then when you go to that CMP exam, you just need to make sure that you let them know specifically, I had SI between the time I was evaluated and next. And with that SI, you're in the realm of about 70% for your PTSD. Let's see. Just got my claim letter today, got awarded 50%, but got PTSD denied. PTSD, when you look at those decision letters, that goes for everybody. When you're looking at these decision letters, at the bottom of every condition, you're going to see favorable findings. What's in those favorable findings? So your PTSD was denied. Those favorable findings you should see in there that you may not have had a qualifying event. You may not have had a clinical diagnosis. If you've had the qualifying event and the clinical diagnosis but no nexus, that matters. So look at your decision letter, determine why they denied it. So that you know what evidence you have to provide to get that PTSD service connected again. Should someone go straight to VA after they get separated early? Okay, I do recommend as you guys separate, you go to the VA. And you don't have to go to the VA for your primary care. I went to the VA after I retired just to establish care because I know I was putting in for VA disability and I went to the VA just to establish care, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Depending on where you are though, your VA may be more or less, attentive to the veteran. You hear horror stories out there about how horrible some VA healthcare systems are, and there are horror stories out there, but there's also some very positive stories. I'm one of them. I live in Nebraska, and so my VA clinic out here, it's great. I don't have to wait too long for an appointment, maybe a week. My provider is very responsive, and if you're not getting that level of care, you need to get with the VA, get with your provider. You can even request community care if you make an appointment and they can't see you for a couple weeks or months. Ask for something in community care. See if you can't be seen out in town, because you deserve to be seen as soon as they can get you in. Let's see. Jay, if I remember correctly, it's for sleep apnea, right? I put secondary to PTSD, but was denied. The examiner stated this option was not related to. So sleep apnea, there is medical literature out there that supports the argument that your PTSD can cause sleep apnea, especially if one of your symptoms is chronic sleep impairment. If you have that fragmented sleep, that can cause airway collapse, and that can contribute to your obstructive sleep apnea. Something like that, what I would do is, again, utilize something like ChatGPT. Ask it to identify the pathophysiology of how how PTSD can cause sleep apnea. And there's plenty of medical literature out there that can support that claim, and then submit a personal statement to the VA saying that, you contested that your PTSD has caused, or your PTSD has caused your sleep apnea. And this is why. This is the science behind how PTSD can cause sleep apnea. From Facebook, Mike again. I'm currently 10% for plantar fasciitis, and they denied increase, but CMP examiner only mentioned non-surgical, but she didn't look at that plantar fasciitis surgery and still have no relief, and thought for no relief from surgery was 20%. If you don't agree, if you're looking off that 38 CFR and you think you rate that next higher rating, put in for an increase. If you're looking at that decision letter for plantar fasciitis, and because if you're rated for 10%, they're going to say, a higher evaluation of 20% is not warranted unless XYZ. If you meet the criteria for that higher rating, by all means, go after an increase. And if they deny the increase, you can certainly higher level review it, letting them know that you meet the criteria for that higher rating. SI. I gotta be careful with how I say this, because I can't say buzzwords. SI, if you have an intrusive thought to self-harm or self-terminate your life. All right. It's an intrusive thought. You have no control over it. It just kind of sneaks up on you, right? That is SI. Okay. Jay, thanks for putting that in there. Any chance you know anyone who can check in VBMS for an unofficial rating? If it has to do with VBMS, I recommend you go to your local VSO. They're there to help you out. You can, like for me, I've been able to walk into my VSO and I ask my C file through my VSO. But I recommend you go to the VSO and you ask them to see if you can get that unofficial rating. Let's see, my from Facebook, my VSO got me 10%, lots of denied claims. Beyond that, I think Nexus letters may be the next step. Any tips on wording or content to help tie to service related? Mike, if the VSO got you 10%, and keep in mind, VSOs, I think they're overworked and underpaid. Okay. And it's one guy helping you out. If you want additional, if you want a team or some help, helping you go after those denied conditions, that number on the screen, 858-360-2227, give us a call, free claim review. And if you sign up during I'm on the call here, you'll get $100 off of our sign up fee. But to answer your question about the Nexus letter, you may not need a Nexus. Okay. It depends on what it was denied for. If you have a doctor, a provider that'll write you a Nexus, hey, that is great. Some doctors don't do it. There are also companies out there that will charge you to write a nexus letter. Some are good, some not so bad. But as far as how to go after those denied conditions, like I was saying before, look at your decision letter. See what your favorable findings are. If your favorable findings, if it says you have a qualifying event but no clinical diagnosis, you know you have to get a clinical diagnosis unless or you know you need to get that clinical diagnosis, or the VA is not going to even look at that claim. Okay, so look at that decision letter. If you do have the clinical diagnosis and you do have the qualifying event and you are missing the nexus, a nexus letter may be the way to go. But you can also provide a personal statement or buddy letters that could also help with the nexus. Let's see. I'm back here in TikTok. Hello, I was 2018-19 in Afghanistan. I never went to sick call. I was infantry 249 gunner. Good. SAW gunner, that's good. Yeah. No, like I said before, you were infantry, you were a SAW gunner, you were in Afghanistan. Even if you know, don't know if you got your combat action ribbon or badge there, it doesn't necessarily matter. But if you do have your combat action ribbon or badge, there's a law out there that basically anything you put in a statement can be used as a competent lay statement to award service connection, because the VA recognizes that when you are in a combat environment, you don't always have the opportunity to go to sick call. There are much more higher priorities out there than you hurting your back. Okay, so if whatever condition you had, whatever injury you sustained while performing combat operations, then I recommend you file for it. Put a decent personal statement in there. Talk about what you did in Afghanistan, the kit you wore, you know, everything, and you have a pretty decent chance of getting it service connected. Let's see here. Hi there, sir. This is from YouTube. I've been diagnosed with sleep apnea and secondary to PTSD, and I have a CPAP and oral appliances too. And once your colleague is working with me and had filed for higher level review. I've been diagnosed with sleep apnea and secondary to PTSD, and I have a CPAP and oral appliance too. And once your colleague is working with me and had filed for a higher level review. Was it a higher level review because the sleep apnea was denied secondary to PTSD? I would have done that as well. If you have PTSD, like I said, there's plenty of medical literature out there to support the argument that your PTSD can cause sleep apnea. So if some of that medical literature was provided or a personal statement was provided and all the evidence was given to the VA and they still denied the claim, I would have also done a higher level review as long as all the appropriate evidence was there. Because for a higher level review, you cannot provide more evidence. Let's see. Can the VA actually reduce static ratings like mental health rating, 70% static rating? Depending on how long you've been rated for, right? You got the 5, you got the 10-year rule. I would never put it past the VA to not reduce a rating. Okay. If you are 70% for, in this case, for mental health, just every time you go to the VA, be mindful of what you are going to the VA for. If you are going for your mental health, be mindful of your symptoms of mental health when you go in there, because the VA, they're going to ask some standard questions up front. And if they determine in those standard questions that they feel, hey, this veteran looks like they are improving, they could put in for a decrease, right? It may not, chances are it's not going to happen, especially if you're PNT, but I never put it past the VA to not do something like that. Okay. Hey, Johnny, very interested in your processing cost. 858-360-2227. Give us a call. Let us know that you're on the live with Brian, and they'll help you out. Okay. my back and knees hurt, but I never got it on record. Am I screwed? No, you're not. If you never got on record, your back and knees hurt, right? There's nothing to stop you from claiming it, but the evidence you provide is going to be important. So if you can provide a statement in there, depending on your MOS, and if your MOS had a high probability of musculoskeletal injuries, you have a pretty good shot of getting it service connected. Again, the VA is going to have a say in this, but you're not screwed by any means. Let's see. This is from Facebook. I always wanted something that says more likely than not, or more than a 50% chance that X condition is service related. Oh, sorry, Christine. I'm seeing your comments. Okay. All right. I'm waiting on the VA. Still have gotten results. If you've been waiting on the VA for a while and still haven't gotten results, you can call the VA. And you can ask them, hey, what's taking so long? I've been waiting for a while. You can also put in an inquiry with the VA. If you go to va.gov, contact us, and you can contact us through askva.gov. You can put in an inquiry, and essentially what that does is that kind of flags your account and almost bumps you up to the top of the pile, so the VA is forced to look at your claim. And I have had success with that being looked at sooner than later. Can you try for a higher rating once you med board out? You can always go for a higher rating. If you meet the criteria for a higher rating, go for it. Even if it was from a med board, if you feel maybe the med board didn't evaluate you appropriately, then you can absolutely go in for that higher rating for an increase. The med board, just because you were part of that med process, doesn't mean that is the end all be all. You can absolutely go after an increase. Benji, my VSO is not good. Hey, that's too bad, brother. Not all VSOs are created equal. If you want some help, if you want a team looking after you, 858-360-2227, give us a call, okay? Aiden, hold on. Sorry, bear with me for 1 second. I just got told Kate Monroe may be coming in. Okay, guys. Yeah, like I said, for the VSOs, not all VSOs are created equal. Okay, there are some VSOs that some are good, some are not. I was at a VSO symposium not too long ago, and I was speaking to one of the VA reps there, and they mentioned in 2022 when the PACT Act was created, the VA they just went on a hiring spree and hired anybody that they could, and they were not trained appropriately and just kind of let them go to do their thing. So it's not the VSOs that came in 2022 probably weren't the best, but the VA was just trying to make up for whatever they could. Let's see. I think Kate might be in. I know Kate, I see you on Zoom. I see you in this. I don't know if Aiden. Hold on, let me see. Sorry, guys. We're trying to get Kate in here. I know you guys miss seeing her.
I miss being seen.
There she is. There she is. All right, guys. Kate Monroe, CEO of VetComm.
How are we? Oh my gosh. It's been a minute. I feel like I haven't been at I was thinking today how I miss singing the jingle. Welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. We're live at VetComm. How do we see, when are you live on all the platforms?
I'm live on TikTok, Zoom, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook.
Oh, very good. Are we not live? We're all live on TikTok, Zoom, and Facebook, not Instagram?
Not Instagram.
Okay.
Nope.
Got it. And they can see us on TikTok here?
On here, they can see us TikTok, Facebook. I don't know if they can see us live on TikTok. Sorry. Yeah, YouTube, Facebook, yes. I don't know about TikTok.
Okay. I'm trying to get on the TikTok.
And if you guys can hear an echo, that's probably on
I
me.
don't hear it.
Okay.
I heard it when I got on, but I don't hear it now.
Okay.
Yeah. How do I log into the VetComm TikTok on my phone?
Here, I'll send you.
This is aging me. I'm an old lady. Okay. All right. I don't usually I see where there's like what we're logged into. Are you seeing that on your side and I'm not seeing it?
I'm seeing it on my side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it's in the comments. Oh, there we go. Okay. Have we already answered all these questions?
Christina's in there answering the Facebook questions, the YouTube questions.
Okay.
That'll be on us, and then TikTok as well.
Okay. Have you answered this ED question?
Which
Abdullah says 10% for ED and 50 for severe migraines, but still at 90% since I got out. So I want to let's just jump in and address something. It's kind of cool that Brian and I are on the chat together because, the CEO of the company, I have a different, I don't know. I guess my input's going to be a little bit different than Brian's, having worked as a leader in our claims organization for so long. He may give you the more VA-centric, nuanced answer. But what I would say to anybody who's 90% since you got out, you should have already been 100%, bud. Like we're sleeping on $2,000 a month. It's fun to get on and ask questions and, hey, what about this? What about that? But the bottom line is you wouldn't be here if you didn't want more or you weren't worried about losing what you have. So maybe the focus point of today is not all these nuanced questions. What if this? What if that? More so like, hey, how do I do this? Because you clearly want more of what you have or you want more in the first place. So everybody who's 90%, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, but has anybody ever come to us at 90? We couldn't get to 100. We don't always do it on the first try, but the cool news is you get 3 rounds for the same money. But have you ever missed?
I don't think we have.
Out of 27,000 people? Why are we so good at what we do? Like, I can't get over how great we are. But to answer your question, 10% for ED is low. 50% for migraines is good. If you guys got 50% for migraines, you've rung the till. There is something to understanding what things are worth. So, I'm going to let Brian weigh in here, maybe on some orthopedics and other things, but I want to focus on mental health for a second. A lot of veterans come to us and they say, I'm rated for mental health. It's like, okay, great. How much? 10%, 30%, 50%. Okay. Great, you got yourself rated for it. But it's likely that you have the things that would get you to 70% for that, but you don't know how to articulate it, or you don't know the question they're actually asking you so you can answer it appropriately. Like, Brian, to be clear, have we met a veteran who is 10 to 30% for mental health that shouldn't have been 50 or 70?
We've met veterans with 10 to 30, but every single time they come in there, we're like, hey, you need to increase that because you are underrated. And then 9 times out of 10, they're going to get that increase.
So maybe talk to them a little bit about like orthopedic underratement and how not only are the 10s underrated, they're not looking at the secondary. So maybe tell them like, how do we go from 10 to 20 to 40? And then what are the cascading things that we can connect in to augment that journey?
Yeah, those orthopedic conditions are huge, right? Mental health is a way to start, but the orthopedic conditions, if you're 10% for your back, your neck, your knees, typically those are pretty underrated at 10%.
Yeah.
So an increase for those to 10, 20%, up to 40% for some of them. That's, if you're 10% for one, you're probably closer to 20%, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Some of the secondaries, when you're talking your back and your neck, you've got the radiculopathy, you've got neuropathy, you've got, if you're taking NSAIDs, so ibuprofen, naproxen, to help the pain with your musculoskeletal injuries, and now your guts are messed up, there's IBS. So there's a lot you guys can tie to this stuff, and VetComm can certainly help you out.
Abdullah, you say you haven't been successful yet. Do me a favor so we can grab you live, get you into the net right now while we're live. 858-360-2227. Say current customer need help so that we can grab you out of this chat right now and get you the help that you need. So I want to break down Barney style. Right? That's my good Marine Corps term of the day. We got two fellow Marine Corps vets here. So breaking it down Barney style, your orthopedics, for the most part, should be a minimum of 20%. If you got them rated at 10, the VA said, hey, yeah, okay, we agree you have it and it's our fault, and maybe it impairs you. So we're going to give you the minimum to see if you go away, okay? But most back injuries, if done right, can get to that 20 to 40%. And most of you're like, what is radiculopathy? What is neuropathy? So radiculopathy is that radiating pain down the leg, and neuropathy typically is the numbness in the leg into the foot. So for me, I have radiculopathy. I have a sciatic issue. So sometimes I get that, man alive, is that nerve pain barking at me? So I'm rated for that. But then I have neuropathy. Sometimes if I sit for about the amount of time it's going to take us to do the live, by the time I go to stand up, I'm going to stand here for a minute or two because I am numb from the center of my back on my right side into my foot. But those are compensable, each of those at 10 or 20%. So sometimes you just don't know what you don't know, and it's time for a good strategy. So those of you on with us now that are not rated, for your people, like, let's get it going. If you are rated, and I would say underrated, or you wouldn't be here, because if you're at 100, you probably wouldn't be here, right? So let's say you're at 60, 70, 80, 90%. Today's your day. It costs you nothing to have a very important conversation with us, because what if you're collecting 1,000 a month, 1,700 a month, 2,000 a month, but you should be collecting 4,000 a month? I'd like to say that should be impactful to you and your family. I mean, that's new grocery money. That's vacation money. That's get a new car money, get married, go on vacation money. Okay. So those of you that are on the call with us now, I would really like it if you would go immediately get on your phone and text in to 858-360-2227. And somebody is live waiting for you right now to have this kind of conversation with you. I have somebody here says, I have hip at 10% for 30 years without trying to increase. Should I try to increase before trying to submit secondaries? Okay. So Fruit of Life on YouTube, you have 10% and you've had it for 30 years. I'm going to be 47. My original back injury in my early 20s has now exacerbated into a whole issue. It's a whole problem, okay, that I have the neuropathy and the radiculopathy for. 10% is the bare minimum for the back. It really is. Your back causes so many problems. It causes, your back has neuropathy and radiculopathy that could be in both legs. So we could get a 10 and a 10 or a 20 and a 20 for each leg. Then we could say, hey, my back causes me sleep issues. Hey, my back has me walking funny. And now my right knee's messed up and my right ankle's messed up. Okay. So never sit there thinking you're owed more and not tackling it. Would you agree with that, Brian?
Absolutely.
So maybe give them some, like when a customer comes to us, a brand new veteran, fresh out the wrapper, and they come to us with this 10% for 30 years, what is the steps we're going to take to assess them and get them moving along? Like, what does it look like in their journey with us?
Yeah. So and I'm glad you brought that up, because we have a question on TikTok about what we do different than VSOs. And
Can the TikTok people hear me?
I don't know. They might
TikTok,
be able to.
hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
What do we do different than VSOs? And something that Kate said is strategy, right? That is something we do much, much different than a VSO. A lot of VSOs are going to look at your service treatment record and only file what's on your service treatment record. The first thing that you guys are going to encounter after you go through, you purchase our product, you go through pre-claims, you're going to be strategized with one of our claims associates to figure out what we have to do to get you on that board higher. So you're at 10%. We're going to look at, okay, should we increase that 10%? What can I tie to this 10%? What conditions are we missing? Did you serve in Iraq and Afghanistan, but you've never filed for sinusitis or rhinitis? Do you not have any sort of mental health conditions claimed? That's the kind of stuff that we think of. We think outside the box so that you guys know that you have a solid plan to get even higher on that VA board.
Yeah, I mean, I think, for me, I'm always going to come at it from a different angle. Like, really, what's different between us and a VSO? I think TikTok can hear me, but they can't see me. So hopefully you can hear me. Can you hear me now? Basically, the difference is there's 3 F words. Really listen to me close. There's 3 F words that go along with getting rated. Okay. The 3 F words are you could do it for free. So you could do it or a VSO could do it, but that could be very costly. Because if you have to have your records and they're understaffed, undermanned, undergunned, undertrained, without that strategy, you might get 1,700 working with them, but 1,700 working with us. Okay, so that's free. Then the other end of the spectrum is fleece. These are the guys that are going to charge you $5,000 to $15,000 to likely send you an email for you to do all of the work. And then there's fee. And there's really only a couple companies in this fee space, one of which absolutely hates my guts. And I love that for them. Can you imagine just living rent free in somebody's mind? It's a mental health condition. But of the fee people, we are the least expensive. We are the highest ROI. Everyone else's guarantee, the fine print will say, it's only good for 60 days. Okay. Our guarantee is good for the life of the time you're with us until you are rated. So basically, if you come to us at 80%, until we get to you to 90%, that guarantee stands. So if we go round 1 and we're not successful, guess what? We're going round 2. If we go round 2, we're unsuccessful, you can have your money back or you can go a third round. The last thing you want is your money back. You don't want your money back. You want money, right? You're trying to get lots of money in from the government that you are owed. So here is the life cycle of a customer. So let's say while Brian and I are talking, you said, you know what? Fuck it. Today's my day. Today is my day. I'm going to go chase down that thing I have been contemplating on for a long time. We're going to get you enrolled. And before you get off the phone, this is important. Listen to me. You're going to be set an appointment. You don't have to wonder when and where to be and what is going to happen. And they're going to give you an email. Hey, you need to be here at this time. And that person's going to make sure you can use Zoom. So for all of those watching me right now, if you're watching me, and you can see me on your phone, on your iPad, on a computer, you can do enough, really, almost. Don't you think, Brian? Like, they're pretty much meeting the criteria of working with VetComm. Okay.
Oh yeah, for
so
sure.
Is let's make sure you can do this, which we're already doing. Boom, check. The second thing is let's make that intent to file. An intent to file is going to establish the day that you're going to be paid back to. So let's say today's your day. And by Tuesday or Wednesday, we make that intent to file. Now that establishes the day they owe you back to. Our average rating is anywhere from 4 to 6 months, depending on if you're brand new or it's just a re-rating, something simple. But you're going to be owed anywhere from 3 to 5 months of back pay. For some people, that can be 2,000. Some people, it could be 10,000. It just depends on how that journey looks to you. So we get the intent to file made. Then we get on our next appointment. And this is where we're going to dig into the strategy and the framework of what is going on. Do we need some buddy letters, a lay statement? Are you a good candidate for a nexus letter? We're going to make all your little 400 character statements. This is where you get to tell your story. This is the fun part for you. As veterans, can we agree? We love to tell stories. We love to tell our war stories, and we're here for it. We live for this, and we're going to memorialize all that. Then we're going to go and make that claim. Anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks later, you're going to get an appointment to go see that exam person. And in the meantime, every day at 9 and at 3 Pacific Standard Time, we're going to prep you for your CMP exams. And we're going to prep you so you know, who am I going to meet? What do they have out for me? What do their questions mean? Who do I need to be to win? We have the only, what I would call a wrap. We wrap the entire event in a bow and deliver you excellence. So hopefully that clearly explains from my perspective the difference between us and a VSO. Do you have any other thoughts on that, Brian?
No, and so it's something else I want to add as well. As you all know, and I've talked about this before, VSOs is a free service, right? But there's a lot of those services out there. They're known as claim sharks. I know VetComm has been called a claim shark. I'm telling you right now, we're not, right?
Most ludicrous thing ever.
So ludicrous. To me, a claim shark is somebody that's going to tell you, if you don't win, we don't win. And they're throwing chum in the water to get you to sign up. And then when you do sign up, they got you.
And they forget you exist.
They forget you exist, right? And then when you end up getting that $10,000 retroactive payment, you're going to owe them a percentage, up to 33.33% of that, or up to 6 times that overall increase.
Which is crazy, which is very sharky, like, right? That's like Jaws level, Megalodon level shark charcuterie.
Yep.
Right?
With VetComm, you guys, right out the gate, you know what you're going to pay for. You know the services you're going to get. We're fully transparent. You guys got nothing to lose.
Yeah, and I fully agree with that. When you're looking at life, it's sort of like, okay, I'm at an impasse. I'm sitting listening to this lady and listening to Brian tell me, hey, I should be getting rated. Here's the easiest way to do it. Here's a good investment. And you're sitting there. And everybody has this moment in their life. You're in a train and you're going down the track, but then you hit a switch. And you're sitting at that switch right now. So you could go, to the left and keep going where you're going. And you could go another 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 years without getting compensated, getting what you are owed. Forget what you deserve, what you're owed. Or you can go, you know what? I'm gonna have a little come to Jesus meeting with myself and go, you know what? I've kind of been putting this off. There's something to this. I am owed this money. I'm gonna go ahead and make that commitment and I'm gonna get going. And we can radically change your life, you guys. Radically change it. We hear from veterans so much like, I can't afford, your service. You can't afford not to. If you can't afford to enroll with us, you can't afford not to enroll with us. And the coolest part with us is we have payment plans. You don't have to come up with all the money today, and the money's not even that much. We want you to get started today. We make it so super easy. So is there any questions from TikTok that I can't see because I'm over here, flying blind?
There's actually a question here. You're talking about the fork in the road. We got Mad Dog on TikTok said, I left the Army in 1993 and
hello, Mad Dog.
Anything.
Mad Dog. Okay. So Mad Dog, like, I don't know, 50% of veterans. So you're not alone. It's not your fault, likely. You served, and then they said, thank you for your service. Now beat it. And some people were told you don't rate it, you don't deserve it, you're not going to get it. Your command didn't even tell you. I got out in 2001. And when I got out, I had been assaulted, smashed my nose in eye socket, broke my right elbow, my right ankle, broke 2 ribs, treated like I was literally so fragmented as a person. I was like very deeply, even like to the spiritual level, injured. And I gave up a med board because I was so scared of what would happen to my life if I didn't get out. I was under that much hostility. And I just walked off with nothing. After all that, for 11 years, it was my husband that said, hey, if you want voc rehab because your GI Bill expired, because that's insane, go and get rated and get those GI Bill funds. And it was then that I realized, like, I was wrong. Like, I was done dirty. So if you waited 30 years, you guys, ask Brian, we've helped people in their late 90s. That's not our everyday customer, but we have people come to us who have their parents living with them and they're like, is my parent owed money and like caregiver assistance? And we're like, hell yeah, they are. And we're getting people in their 90s, $2,000 to $4,000 a month. That is a big help to your families. I can tell you that. It is terrible. Fruit of life. You are correct, sir. It is terrible. I had to go through that, but you know what? And this may not matter to you, but it matters to me a great deal. And I tell this to all of our 200 plus employees every day. If I had to go back in the Marine Corps and go through what I went through and do it all again so that I could stay here with you and get you safely to where you're trying to go, I would do it again. I would walk right back into every single situation. I would smash my face. I would get assaulted, like whatever it is, so that I could see you, right? Because I can see you because I have a good lens, right? I have a good lens in front of my eyes. So I see you different than you get seen by maybe people in your life and your loved ones and people that didn't serve. I know what brokenness looks like. I know what it means to be set aside and made to feel small and just thrown out like a broken toy, like trash. So it's very important to me. Brian's like, oh my God, you're gonna make me cry. I'm emotional, ladies and gentlemen. I just love you guys so much because it's such a big deal. So I'm gonna let Brian talk for a second while I drink my water or my champagne. I don't know what I'm
something that Kate said about helping veterans out. Every week, we pull the numbers on how many veterans that got an overall increase, how many got to 100%. And last Wednesday or this Wednesday, we did that. And in the month of February, right? So that was 17 days into February. We got 42 veterans to 100%.
These are the ones that tell us.
Right. These are the ones that tell us.
Y'all don't hide. You win and you're like, boop, and you go back in your little hole.
Yep. But, and then 178 veterans receiving some sort of increase between 10 and 90%. In 17 days, 220 veterans got some sort of increase and are getting more money in their pocket to help them. And it's great. And it's something that not a whole lot of companies can say.
Well, and it's like when people, try to be like, oh, you're one of those shark companies. I'm like, well, let me, I'm going to tell you about us and you tell me if you think that we're a shark. Okay. We have helped 27,000 veterans get nearly $12 billion. Sometimes I have to think about that. I want you to think about the gravity of that. How many million, Brian, are in a billion?
999 million.
Pretty much. Yeah. 1,000 million.
You're asking a Marine to do this shit. Stop.
So $12,000 million. We hope, like, I go to sleep. I sleep so good at night. Being a piece of shit shark, apparently, because that's all we do. I have run for Congress. I have gone on 30 homeless walks. I get veterans off the street live. I go to lobby for you. I have written legislation for you. Like, there are so many veterans that when they are having the big S problem, or they're having like some deep problems, that our staff will get me on the phone with them. I talk to at least 4 to 7 veterans a day to talk them off the fence, to help them out, to listen to them. When we get somebody that has an MST enroll, I typically will call them and tell them, I'm proud of you for getting going. So we are the good guys. And you want to hear a funny story, Brian?
Yeah.
I so wish that the entire scene was full of veterans, because I want you guys to tell me what you would have done. I just got done shooting a movie, but I just started shooting like a vertical series for social media. I was on the stand. It's a crime drama. And one of the extras stood up in the middle, having looked at my social media, and called me an effing "see you next Tuesday." Interrupted the thing and walked out. And he got to the door and I went, okay, bye. And then I looked at everybody, 50 people, and I said, guys, I've been called that like more than one time. So let's just carry on. Like, we're good. Back to business. Like, I am unflappable. You are not going to fuck with me. So a person who is that like calm and collected and has like their shit together, like, I am going to go to freaking war for you guys. I have had people come and tell us we're whatever, but you know what? I know who I am, and I know who Brian is, and I know who the other 200 employees that work here. If you guys heard our Wednesday meeting, what would they hear, Brian? What did we talk about on our Wednesday meeting?
Wins, veterans. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, we're like, this veteran won this and this, and somebody will be like, I helped this veteran do that, and this veteran got a car, and this veteran became a homeowner, and we just sit and freaking kumbaya about you guys because we love you so much. So I submitted a claim with you for 5 items for it, and I want to defer it at the bottom where the claim decision expansion is the decision expansion for something else. 5 at the top. Bryce Leonardo, rather than just text me here because it's a lot to unpack, write into 858-360-2227. And let's have a chat. So I want to give a call to action because I got to hop off here really quick. I just want to show my face and make sure you guys knew Kate is still the CEO of VetComm. Okay. Yeah. Welcome to the live. I want you to realize a couple things. One, you are owed this money. It is an insurance policy that is triggered by an insurance company. You're not taking money from somebody else. Today is your day. We will take good care of you. Our logo is a shield for a reason. It's so that you can get behind us and we can ram the door and get you into safety where you're trying to go. You need to get it done because the thing is, I'm offering you a free strategy session. Let's say you don't want to go with us and today's not your day. Guess what? You're going to know a lot more than you did when you got on the call. So before we go any further, it's 858-360-2227. I want you to text in free claim review. And I want you to do it right now. I want to know that I want to be getting text messages that people are saying, yeah, they're texting in, because today is your day. If you wait, let's say that you get to, let's say you got to 100%. About how much money would they lose per day by not being 100%, Brian?
Oh my gosh. What is it? $4,000 a month. You're out. It's just, and
more than $100 a day.
Oh yeah.
More than $100 a day you're losing while you're having analysis paralysis. Because quite frankly, I'm going to turn it back to Brian. The VA, listen close. The VA preys on the fact that you have anxiety. They prey on it because they know anxiety gives you perfectionism and hypervigilance to think everything's a scam, right? They feed your heart and your mind full of so many lies, and they keep you broke. So the thing that you would get paid for the most, this anxiety, for 50 to 70% usually. Wouldn't you agree, Brian? That's like our average for anxiety. They're keeping you away from $1,000 to $1,700 a month for that one thing. They're preying on it. Let's pray a little more than we get preyed on. Okay. 858-360-2227. I love you. I'm going to hop off now and go and drink the rest of my water. And you guys have a great day.
See you, Kate.
All right. Bye. Love you. Okay, bye.
For TikTok, hey, I'm going to go through some of these. I saw a couple more comments in here. I'm going to try and get caught up. I saw a few comments in here about, can we help out veterans? Yes, absolutely. Or transitioning service members. If you're going to file your BDD claim, we can absolutely help you out with that. Okay. Like Kate was saying, 858-360-2227, let us know. Additionally, that there's VSOs on base that may be able to help you out. But again, not all VSOs are created equal. You're going to be talking to one person. With VetComm, you're talking to a whole team that can help you out. Okay. Let's see. Sorry, I'm scrolling through. I'm trying to get caught up on you, TikTok. Mel, I'm almost at the point of being homeless. Give us a call, 858-360-2227. Let us know you're on the verge of becoming homeless, and we'll see if we can work with you. Okay. It's not unheard of that we help you guys out. You guys are in a financial bind. I know a lot of guys that are going for their VA compensation. You guys are in a financial bind, and that's why you're doing it. You pushed it off for so long because you didn't need it, but now you need it. Okay, so give us a call. We can help you out. Let's see, 10%. Sorry, guys. I'm just mumbling through some of these. A lot of names, a lot of likes. I'm a VetComm client. Let's see. I'm a VetComm client denied for anxiety, no in-service events, getting a nexus written now. That's fine. Yeah, if you have no in-service events and you got denied for anxiety, a nexus could help out. Also work on a personal statement and work on a buddy letter as well. Okay, if you don't got any buddies that used to be with you, a personal statement's good. You can even bring family members into this for buddy letters. Okay. No, hold on. TikTok's timing out. Oh, crap. Sorry, guys. I've been over an hour and now TikTok's timing. Okay. Yeah, but put in a personal statement. Let them know what you did in service that caused the anxiety. And if you have a friend, a spouse, a family member that can talk about how you were before you entered and how you were after you entered, that will pay dividends as well. I'm going to read a few more of these comments, guys. I'll let you go on your Friday. Get some good food, get some drinks. Let's see. I'm only 40% right now. Need to file secondaries. If you haven't filed any secondaries, file the secondaries. Okay. The primaries are only going to get you so far. I think I may have seen one claim since I've been working here at VetComm where primaries got the veteran across the finish line. Okay. You have got to look at those secondaries because there are so many of them and they're going to start snowballing your claim more than the primaries will. Mel, I'm already trying to get a refund. Y'all didn't help. Sorry to hear that, Mel. If sometimes it doesn't work out, right? If we file once, we don't get you that 10% increase. We go a second round, we don't get you that 10% increase. You are going to get your money back. That is told to everybody straight up. If we cannot get you a 10% increase, you are going to get your money back. Okay. Jeff, how much do you all get out of this? It's what you pay up front. We do not take your back pay. We will not touch your back pay. Okay. So when you call that number, 858-360-2227, you talk to our claims associates. They will let you know how much our service is up front, and then that's all you're going to pay. That's it. There's no hidden fees. We're not taking any back pay. And I want you guys to look at this as an investment in yourself. All right. Cody, how long after you see a doctor can you submit a new claim? If you get that diagnosis, submit the claim. Okay. Once you get that diagnosis, and if that's especially if that's what you've been waiting on to file that claim, once you get that diagnosis, go for it. And I recommend you get the diagnosis, you have it as a PDF, and you upload it in support of your claim. There is an option for the VA to locate those records for you, but it doesn't always work out, and it takes them a while to get it. But if you can get the records and you can upload them into your claim, there's a guarantee the VA is going to see them, they're going to review them, and they're going to evaluate you appropriately. David, I'm going to resubmit for HLR, but it's not popular on the list. How come? Okay, this has been a problem. It was a problem today. I think it was a problem yesterday. If you are submitting for a higher level review or a supplemental claim, and those claims are not showing up on your list, you have to manually put them in, right? So you have to find the decision letter that it was denied on, put in the condition, and then put in the date of that decision letter. And then you'll be able to file that claim. Chef C, AI can do all you can do for free. You're absolutely right. AI can do everything. Okay. They absolutely can. But if you're not familiar with AI, you need to go to some place that can help you out. VetComm is a choice. That's what we are. We are not saying you have to come to VetComm. We are saying we are a choice to help veterans get what they deserve. If you rely strictly on people that are accredited with the VA, VSOs, claims agents, attorneys, there's only so many of them, right? I think there was like 11,000 of them total, and 11 million veterans not rated with the VA. It will take decades for them to get everybody rated. Okay. You can also do it on your own. You can use AI if you know how to use AI. Sure, go for it. You can spend hours on YouTube watching videos. Absolutely. There's nothing to stop you to do it. But if you want help with it, if you feel like you don't want to do it on your own and you need some help, 858-360-2227. Let us help you. I'm going to read a couple more comments here, guys, and I'll let y'all go on your Friday. Alex, why do you guys take so long for every call? Are you talking about when you try to call in? Do we take a while to get back? That could be. So when you get an email from one of our claims associates, their direct number is on that email. And if you're calling that direct number, the chances of you getting a hold of your claims associate directly, it could be pretty slim, because chances are they're on a call with another veteran while you are trying to call. Okay. So the best way to go about that, get a hold of customer service, get a hold of claim support, so that we will have somebody get a hold of you. But with our claims associates, they are always in meetings. They're always helping veterans. So it's important to realize that they'll see you call, but aside from all the veterans they're helping, all the emails they have to keep up on to make sure that they are replying to the veterans, it'll get to the end of the day and they may not have had a chance to call you back. That is why we have customer service and claim support in place. All right, I'm going to read one more here. The last comment I got here from Facebook: just got 70% for PTSD and the rest are pending in my initial claim. Do I make a new secondary claim for sleep apnea while the initial claim is still pending, processed, or after the initial claim closes? Dave, I recommend you wait till your claim closes, okay? When you file an initial claim, let that claim close out so that you have a good picture of what was denied and what was approved. There may be some conditions on there that were denied, and you have evidence for a supplemental claim, that way you can file all those supplemental claims together and you don't have to keep going back and forth filing the conditions. PTSD, 70%, you are on the board. Congratulations, right? Wait for the rest of that initial claim to come back and even start game planning for what's next. You're rated for PTSD. Start looking at those secondaries now. Sleep apnea, headaches, IBS, GERD. Start looking at the things that your PTSD causes. All right. All right. I'm going to let you guys go. It was great seeing you all. We'll be here on Monday again, same time, and hope to see you guys then. Have a good weekend. Stay safe and take care of one another.